Everybody, welcome in. Thank you.
What's going on?
Music. What's going on, baby? Hey.
Oh, dude, we are surviving, man. We're surviving. We're thriving. We're hanging out. Cannot complain. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, my boy. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Hair looking beautiful as always.
Oh, we're trying. We're trying. We're trying.
Hey, don't make me take my ponytail down, bro. Don't make me take my ponytail.
Listen, I think you might have me beat on that length right now. I gotta say, I think you got me beat.
Oh shit.
Pretty sure you got me beat right now.
How you feeling tonight, my boy?
I'm doing good, man. Honestly, it's been a long day. I will say it's been a long day. I didn't get to stream today like I wanted to, but just been running around. I had an interview with the news today, so I had to go on the news and promote like this big bike festival that we got going on in the next 2 weeks, and then had some other interview stuff and all that, and just been kind of lagging, man. Just kind of like hanging out, just doing stuff here and there. You know, just been trying to like slow down, but everything's just ramping up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel that. Hey, that's
We'll
dope
see.
though. So this your second interview today?
Yes, it is. Third interview today, actually. Third, but I'm stoked. This is
Oh my
this is
goodness.
where it's at. So let's go. I'm ready. I'm excited for this. I've been talking about this all day long, so I'm excited. I really wanted to stream today and then promote it a bunch, but today's just been one of those days, so we're good.
Hey, either way, I just appreciate you, for coming through and providing your time. I know you're super busy. I know you got all types of shit going on. You said you already had 2 interviews today, so I'm like, damn, like, thank you so much for providing that time, brother.
And I appreciate you having me. I'm stoked, man. Honestly, I'm stoked to see what questions we get and what you and I are going to get into. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
For sure, man. Well, shit, let's start it like this, man. Let us know where you're from. Let us know a little bit about Mr. Louie Cortese, man.
All right. Well, if you guys do not know, I know I got some of my followers in here already, but my name is Louie Cortese. I'm blessed with the opportunity to travel all over the world riding BMX bikes. I'm a professional athlete at that. I travel doing double backflips for a living. I speak all over the world. I'm the voice of the Pro Wakeboard Tour, and I get to do a lot of cool traveling and seeing a lot of the world. But outside of that, I get to claim a little bit of a residency here on Whatnot and the streetwear category. It was kind of a happy accident that fell into my lap, but it worked, and now I'm stoked to be able to provide entertainment as well as good deals on clothes, so I really can't complain too much. But yeah, that's me.
Hey, that's a good way to put it.
Also, I'm 26 years of age from Florida, but now I reside in Bentonville, Arkansas. So, Arkansas boy now, but from Florida. Florida will always be home.
So, real quick, man, I didn't mean to cut you off, but how you go from Florida to Arkansas, man?
Okay, that is the question that everyone asks. They're like, what the hell are you doing? They're like, why? Honestly, so our Bentonville, Arkansas is basically in the top left corner of the state. It is in the middle of nowhere, but it is one of the most like growing cities in the country. So it's the home of Walmart, so it's super wealthy here. Everything's brand new. It's like super artistic, super beautiful. Like even the building that I'm in is completely ridiculous. But it's also the #1 place in the country for the mountain bike community. So this was like one of the areas that I traveled in a lot when I was like I used to come in here for like coffee and other stuff all the time. So like no matter what I was doing, I would pass through this area, and I was like, dude, this place is sick. Like it's super special, but it's one of those things where like in all seriousness, anything that you want to do here, you can do. Like there's so much support from the community. It's the #1 place in the country for the mountain bike industry. #1 coffee shop in the world is here as well. Like there's so much that's jam-packed in this area, and it's a higher income for a lower cost of living. So it's like the average salary is way higher here, but it's a lower cost of living, which is crazy. But it's just beautiful, man. Like I really can't complain. It is so cool. I bump into some of the most famous people in the world can't come through here all the time. I bumped into Tony Hawk the other day. I bumped into the mom from the movie Step Brothers the other day at dinner. Like you never know who you're gonna bump into, and it's just an awesome place to raise a family, and it's just sick, man. Like honestly, I really can't complain. It's sweet.
Interesting, man. I'm gonna have to come see what that Arkansas about, man.
Yeah, we're working on some things, so you might need to come on out. We're working on some things right now. I'm ready to provide another cool place to put on the map here. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of my mom's family. She got a little bit of family over there, so been over there a little bit, but from what I've seen, it's just like country, like country as hell.
It
So
is
that's
the
why I'm like,
best kept secret, dude. It is the best kept secret in the states, like by far. You come here and you're gonna be like, what? It's crazy, honestly, but I love it. I love it.
yeah, that's what's up, man. So tell us a little bit about your childhood in Florida and kind of how you grew up, uh, leading up to the BMX stuff, man. How did that happen?
It's crazy, man. I was born in the Miami area, and kind of man, it's weird. I started racing dirt bikes when I was 3 years old. My dad put me on dirt bikes, and he's like, you know what? Like, this is a great idea. Let's see what happens here. From the age of 3 to 21, it lasted me many months in the hospital, 24 broken bones, and just a bunch of gnarliness. But motocross was my dream and my dad's dream as well. And growing up there, there wasn't much land. There wasn't many places to ride. So we ended up moving to a town called Groveland, Florida, which is like literally country Florida, nothing there, one light town. And now it's the number one place in the world for the motocross industry. So every facility's there, every factory's there. It's pretty crazy. And so we were like one of the first families there. And so I grew up racing motocross and just kind of was a loner kid. My family took me out of school, and if I wasn't at the track, I was doing schoolwork at my parents' restaurant. And like that was my entire life. I had no friends, I had nothing, very introverted, and I was training riding dirt bikes. That was it. That was my whole life. That was all I was good for, basically. That's it. And but man, it was crazy how long we really committed to motocross and what we were doing until like when it rained, it poured. Like in 1 year's time, my family in 2008 lost everything. Like I came from a super wealthy family, very blessed, and they lost everything. So my dad was diagnosed with cancer. My grandfather died of leukemia. I was in the hospital with one of the worst motocross injuries of my life, and we lost our house, our business. We lost everything within 1 year. And so it's like we were on the top of the world, basically. Like, all right, we have a wealthy family. I'm racing motocross. Like, we're trying to become a professional. This is what we're doing. To literally having nothing. Like, I remember having this huge property, 20 acres, 10,000 square foot warehouse, every dirt bike you can imagine. Very privileged, very blessed, loner freaking kid to legitimately having an oil pan in a $500 truck that my dad and I had gas fumes coming into with quarters in the oil pan, going to McDonald's to legitimately like buy a hamburger so I didn't have to eat whatever leftovers that we had. Like so we went from 0 to 100 real quick, or 100 to 0 real quick. And so BMX kind of became the thing that man, that like kind of like saved my life in a way. Like it was like the one thing that I could have do that was like the bad kid. That was like oh, the edginess. So it's like the skate park was where like the bad kids hung out, or it was where like where I wasn't supposed to be. You know, it's like that's where kids smoke. I can't go there. Like what are you talking about? I can't do that. Like my mom will kill me. But like it was funny. It was goofy because man, it just, for lack of better words, it just meant something to me. And I met one of my only friends growing up, and he introduced me to BMX. So like I was legitimately like training on my road bike going past the skate park, and this kid came flying out from the skate park on his BMX bike, and it was long and behold would become my best friend. He introduced me to BMX. His name is Braden, and just started to like I don't know, man. Just to get involved in that community, and I really much it slowly but surely changed my life because like with motocross, it's like well the one thing that you need with motocross is money, and if you don't have money, like good luck. So a BMX bike is super cheap. It's not $10,000. It's like $300. You know. And
Right.
so just started to ride and get really good at it and progress, and I just learned how to be a kid. Like at the end of the day, like genuinely, like that's what I learned. I learned how to have fun. I learned how to have a friend. I learned to progress in a different way and ride bikes for myself. And it literally like it went from 0 to 100 quick. I started riding BMX super late. I was about 15 years old, and by the time I was 18, I was going pro, and started getting into the contest scene and various different things. But the motocross dream kind of always sat in the back of my head. I'm like, man, I was supposed to be a somebody. Like I'm riding a BMX bike and I'm making hundreds of dollars. Like I'm not making millions like I was supposed to, you know? Like what was my life supposed to be like? Like when my family lost everything, I was 11 years old and I tried to commit suicide because I thought that it was my fault. I literally was suicidal at 11 years old, put a gun to my head and tried to kill myself because I thought it was my fault that they lost everything. I had no idea like what actually happened. So I held on to that for so long, and even riding BMX, I went pro and had all this success very quickly, but it wasn't like measured in the way that I anticipated it. And like my dad looked at me and was like, "I'll never support you as a BMX rider. Like I'll support you as a dirt bike rider. That's it. That's all I know." And so it's like a kind of like a tough love thing. So a lot of things changed pretty quickly, but I was still working a dead end job, like trying to help my family because they never recuperated from the issues that they had. And man, just so much happening all at once, over and over and over. And sure enough, I remember working a job that like I absolutely hated. Like it was miserable. It was with a bunch of dudes like that. This was their last ditch effort to make money. Like this is it, dude. Like they legitimately are working this job, making $19.72 an hour. They're pumped. This is a better job than working at McDonald's, whatever. And this is all they can get. They're fresh out of jail, or like they didn't go to school, whatever. So like this is their thing, and it's great money. It was great money for them. But like they would always tell me, like nudge me and or hard on me. They're like, dude, what are you doing? They're like, you're a professional BMX rider. Like what? Like we would kill to have the talent that you have. Like go do something with it. And I remember like I know not everyone's always religious or like believe in God, not, but like I remember like looking up like God, like if you exist, like if you're even real, like I was supposed to be a somebody, man. Like I don't know like if this is what my life is supposed to look like, but like man, this sucks, dude. Like if you're real, if you're there, like open the doors of my life. I'll take whatever opportunity I got and I'll send it. And sure enough, I ended up getting an email like legit the next day from Monster Energy, and they're like, "Hey, we want to bring you onto the athlete program, and we'll do this many years, and blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "That's it, dude! I'm done. I freaking quit my job. It was so great. All the guys are high fiving me as I'm leaving and shit. Like they're so pumped that I got out. They're like, he's free. It's like I just got out of prison or something. Absolutely epic. And I'm like, all right, what do I do now? And I sat back. I'm like, I guess I believe in God now, so I'll put God first on my bio because that's what all the really good people do. So I'll do that, and maybe something good will come about that, and yada yada yada. Right after that, I put God first on my bio, and I get an email or DM from a dude named John, and he goes, "Bro," he's like, "I noticed that you put God first in your bio, and that you're riding a lot more. Like, what's that about?" And we just start talking. He's like, "How would you like to come do 2 weeks of shows with us?" I'm like, "Shows? Like, what do you mean?" And he introduced me to this idea of like I get to ride my bike for money. Like what? Like, what are you talking about? And then it turns out it's like a ministry team, and like they're using it to share the gospel, using it to represent the Lord in so many different ways. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, yeah, how much? Like, I'm like, let's go. And one show turned into two, then three, then four. And man, like I was looking at my life, and I'm like, it's moving quick. Like I went from working a dead end job, miserable, to 2 weeks later traveling the country riding my bicycle. Like there had to have been some type of plan. Like this doesn't just happen by accident. I asked and I received, and it was crazy. But then I was looking back on my life, and I'm like, man, like did I ever think that I would end up here? Like I was supposed to be a somebody. I was supposed to be a dirt bike rider, dude. Like that was my life. That's what I was supposed to do. Now I'm riding bicycles. Like where did this come from? And I remember when I was 6 years old, I went to this crazy event, and it was with my parents, and there was a skate park that was built on the beach. And I have a photo of me like all thumbs up in front of it, and there's skateboarders and bike riders, and it was crazy. 100,000 people were there. Like it was this crazy, crazy event. And sure enough, like I didn't think anything of it, but I start doing these shows, and I didn't realize that they were talking about this thing called City Fest after the first 2 weeks. I'm like, man, like that sounds so familiar, but you know what, or whatever. Like I'm just stoked. I'm gonna go ride my bike. Like that, I'm just blessed. I'm stoked. And I come back after my first 2 weeks on tour. I come back home. I'm like 18 or 19 at the time. And my mom's standing there. She gives me a hug. I get a phone call from John. He's like, hey, we need to get you on a flight Friday. It's Wednesday. He's like, we got to get you on a flight. You're coming to City Fest. You're going to do it. There's going to be 70,000 people there, all this stuff. Like, I can't wait for you to come. Like, please say yes. We got to book your flight. And I'm like, let me talk to my mom. Like, I just got home. I just drove 10 hours here, blah, blah, blah. I look at my mom. I'm like, Mom, like they want me to come do this thing called City Fest. Like, do you know what that is? Have you ever heard of that? And I will never forget. She like was up against the couch and she like puts her hand on the couch and she's like, do you know what that is? And I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean? And she starts crying and she's like, that was the event that we went to when you were 6. And the people that I was riding with now were the people who were riding in that show. So like they're my employees, or they're my employers. Like John and Vic and Judd all performed at that show, and now I ride for them. And so like life kind of came full circle. Like it was like, oh no, this was the plan the whole time. Like super crazy, super interesting, and it was just like mic drop. Like watch what I'm gonna do in your life, and it changed my life forever. Honestly, like I completely just went head first in. Like after that, I realized like, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. Like, all right, this is what I was always supposed to do. Like, let's go, let's do it. And we dove in, man, and it's been nothing but an intense. Hey, Google, pause. It's been nothing but an intense and crazy journey that's led to me to where I am now. And like that's why I came to Bentonville. That's why I wanted to be a part of this community here, because BMX bikes or children's bikes and mountain bikes are where all the money is and where all the community is. It's like this is the next step for me. And so yeah, so that's like that's how the beginning, the end, and it is the story. So thank Boston. Thank you so much, brother. That's a blessing going to my man up there. Appreciate you, bro. And to the other ones that came through, I appreciate you. And I've been reading all the comments as well. So I see you. But yeah, man. So that's like the long story short to the answer, if that makes sense. That's the elevator story. I got to run to my car and grab something too. But yeah, man. So that's where it all started, and there's a lot of things in between, of course, with all of that. But yeah, that's the story for sure. It's pretty crazy to think about.
That's dope. Real quick, how old were you at that first show that you said was the same people that you're working with now?
Yeah. So that the say that one more time, actually.
I was saying, how old were you at that first show that you said
I was
you
6.
you
I was
started?
6.
You were 6.
Yep, I was
Wow. So
6.
how many years apart was that difference right there, from when you saw the first show to when you started working with them?
So it was from, man. Let me do the math actually. Years. I think it was 12 years later, which is like pretty almost like my entire like motocross career too, which is kind of wild.
Say that again. Say that again, bro. It cut out in the beginning.
I
How
think it
many
was
years did
about
you say?
think about 12 years ago. I think is like how it ended up. Like from the time where I saw the show to the time I was riding with those guys, it's probably about 12 years. I would say it's
Wow.
pretty wild, dude. Honestly, like that whole. I still think about that sometimes. And I was actually just with that organization again in Jamaica just the other day, or just a couple weeks ago, and it's wild, man. Like I I've been able to kind of stay under the radar, but be in the limelight enough to where like I've been able to ride my bike from 2017 on to today. I've been able to ride my bike full time for a living. Like that's my only job I've had from 2017 to today, other than Whatnot now and like my Take Fun Seriously stuff and all that. Like
Yeah.
I always laugh and people are like, man, you make so much money, you get to travel. I'm like, dude, I make hundreds of dollars. Like it's great. Like not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of dollars. But it's been a cool journey to say the least. It's been super fun, and yeah, I really can't complain all that much. It's pretty exciting.
But you're doing what you love, which I feel like a lot of people aren't able to do. So that's definitely a blessing. Hell yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for that.
Hell yeah, for
Oh.
sure. So, so I was wondering, how did you go from just riding a bike to one day deciding like, damn, I want to really hit some stunts or some tricks on this thing. Like, when did that shift, man? Like, how do you get into that?
It's crazy, man. Like it all depends on like who you're around. Like with Braden, like Braden taught me like everything I knew basically. Like for a while, like Braden, my buddy, he was my only friend growing up. We were absolute hood rats, dude. Like if there was any trouble that we could get into, we were getting into it. Like we were always, always, always progressing and getting into trouble, being stupid. But like you just BMX it's just you and the bike, you know. So it's one of those things where like realistically you kind of just, for lack of better words, like just figure it out. As I started to get better and got around more pros, I'm like, all right, like it's time. Like it wasn't probably until like 2018, which is like the second year I went pro, that I was like, all right, I need to start pushing it. And I wanted to see what was possible. And like even still to this day, there's not one time that I don't go ride and I'm like, you know what, maybe I could do this today. It's like never ending trick list. It's never ending. And now like this past year, I probably did some of the most gnarliest stuff I've ever done. I rode for Nitro Circus and stuff like that, where we're not riding 6 foot tall jumps. We're riding 55 foot tall jumps. Like, and it's absolutely insane. Mulaney, what's up, love? It is absolutely nuts. And so it's one of those things where like it just kind of happens and things just click. And for me personally, like even yesterday, the day before yesterday, like I'm riding mountain bikes now, and it's like reliving that all over again. It's basically like, all right, well, you could do it on a BMX bike. Now, do you think you could do it on this other bike or this big bike or a dirt bike? And it never ends. And that's why motor action sports is so sketchy in general. Is because there's no end to it. It's forever. And so to answer the short question long, it's just like, I don't know, dude. Things just click and you get bored really quickly. And I'm the type of person that is just like, if I'm not 50 feet in the air doing a double backflip, or I'm not like in front of a camera jumping up and down, I don't know what to do. Like I have no chill. Like I'm absolutely fully retarded. Like even at Nitro Circus, I'm standing on the biggest stage of my life, 55 feet in the air on a rolling with the best riders in the world, and they're all sketching out. They're like trying to pump each other up, get ready, and I'm sitting there like this with my head, with my hand on my face, just like singing like Taylor Swift in my head, like, all right, here we go, like just stupid. Prime Orders in the building. What's going on, bro? But it's yeah, it's cool, man. Honestly, like it's cool to even talk about it because there's been so many things that have just happened that's been wild. Prime Orders coming in hot. Let's
Man,
go, brother. Thank you, dog.
bro, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me get those in, man. Hold
Get it
on.
in there. Run it back to back. Prime, we got you, bro. Thank you so much for that. We're storytelling right now. How you
Yeah.
doing?
We're having a great time. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for popping in. We're about to shout out the Prime Orders, guys. Make sure you follow the boy Prime Orders. All right. He just sponsored 3 giveaways, man. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate that.
Back to
Make sure
back
you
to
hop
back.
in. That's crazy. Thank you so much, Prime. Shout out to the boy for always showing love, man.
Yes,
Oh
thank you,
my
Prime.
goodness.
Appreciate you.
So Louis, with that being said, brother, the tricks. What was the first like insane trick you ever did, like that really got you to where you're at that point where like I don't want to stop, like I got to keep chasing this thrill.
Dude, it's crazy. Like when you learn how to backflip, backflipping a bike is the easiest thing. Like I could teach you how to backflip into a foam pit or an airbag in 5 seconds if you listen. It's the easiest thing to do on a bike. But once you start doing tricks into it, or you start doing 2 of them, stuff like that, things can get a little bit gnarly. And I think that one of the first tricks that I did that really put me over the edge when I learned it was a backflip tail whip. So tail whip is when the bike does a full 360, and backflip obviously is a backflip, and you do that at the same time. So you're coming off of the takeoff, kicking a tail whip around, doing a backflip while the bike is spinning around you, and then you somehow have to keep the rotation, catch with your front foot, and then suck into the bike so that you can find where your landing is and finish the rotation of the flip and then land. And it's like it's completely ridiculous, but it's my favorite trick. And when I learned it, I was like, okay, now what? Like now what do I do? But then my mindset changed really quickly because I walked away from contests so quickly. Because contests, it's a judging sport. I hate when people judge me, and you're literally being judged from the time that you step foot on your bike, and from the time you get off of it. If I was wearing Vans instead of Etnies, and the guy that's judging me doesn't like Vans, I'm gonna get docked points, and he's not gonna say why, but I'm gonna get screwed. Even still to this day, last year I did a contest, and I won on paper. It said Louie Cortese first. Someone complained that's really famous, and I got second. I lost $10,000. It's a sport that
What?
like it's all about who you know and who you blow. And I'm sorry for any kids that might be watching, but it's like I don't like being judged. I hate it. I don't like it. And so I kind of walked away from it. And I'm like, I love talking. I love jumping up and down. I love being the center of attention like an absolute freaking moron. So I'm going to start doing shows. And so when the show aspect came about, it was like, what can I learn that would basically put people into a position that would be like, what the hell did I just see? It might be super easy for me to do a backflip tail up right now, but to the naked eye, it's nuts. But if you see me do a
Yeah.
bar spin, it's like, oh, you did a bar spin. If I do 2 bar spins, it looks the same as one to someone who doesn't understand the sport. There's no wow
Yeah.
factor. But if I do a
Right.
backflip and a tail whip and I'm leaving the bike and all this shit is happening so much at one time, and it's like, what? Like, so that's where I started to learn things that was like, you know what? Like, this is what's going to put on a show, right? So
Right.
yeah, so now, like, even still to this day, like, I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm like, what can I do? And let's see. And now being on like the biggest stage in the world, riding with some of the biggest athletes in the world, I'm able to like, and some of the biggest ramps in the world, I'm kind of able to like do video game tricks. And but it's also, it comes down to an idea of like, is it calculated? Is it risk? Like, and is it calculated risk? Because I don't, my paycheck doesn't always come from BMX anymore. Like, I get a great paycheck. I'm getting paid next week to go do shows. I'm doing a commercial next week. I get to do a lot of cool stuff. But like, if I do this trick, so what? Like, unless I'm getting paid to do it and someone's like, hey, we want to pay you this much money to do something, is it worth it? No, because if everyone, like, I say this when I speak at camps and stuff like that to get people to understand, because I was one of the first people in the world to ever do a front bike flip. And it's when the bike does a front flip and I'm like over it and I catch it and put it underneath me.
Yeah.
If if we're in front of 100 people right now, I'm like, everyone scream as loud as you can right now. Everyone starts screaming, yelling, yada, yada, yada. That is what it was like to land that trick, and then it stopped. Like, so what? It's done. And everyone gets quiet. That's exactly what you go back to. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to go risk my life on a BMX trick or whatever for Instagram likes and for people to cheer for a moment. Fuck that. Like, there's no legacy to that. Like, the legacies of the sport have already been written, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand now with social media is it's killed action sports to the T. It's destroyed it. So like, I had my buddy that just did a quadruple backflip on a mountain bike and it got millions of views, but you know how much he got paid? Zero, nothing. He didn't make anything. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like, and so for me, like, when I learn a new trick or something like that, I'm like, what is this going to inspire when I do it in a show? Is this going to put on a show for someone when I'm getting paid to ride my bike and I'm stoked? So that I still risk it. I'm doing a big show in 2 weeks, Memorial Day weekend here for Bentonville. It's Bentonville Bike Fest, and I'm performing and competing against the best riders in the world. And I sit back and I'm like, everyone's like, what are you going to do? You planning this? I'm like, dude, I plan on having the most fun out of everyone. And that way people will remember the long-haired dude in a button-up t-shirt goofing off, pounding a beer, and then dropping in and doing a double backflip. That's what they're going to remember. They're not going to give a crap about the dude that set himself and won the contest. They don't give a crap. They're going to care about this gnarly dude that's high-fiving kids and having a good time. So, yeah, like, sorry to go on the rant, but like, dude, it literally, it's on the hat. It's like, take fun seriously. It's like, I love getting to ride my bike. I love progressing, and I love always knowing that I can do something new, you know? So that's the cool part about the learning stuff and all that. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
I had a question. I was wondering, do you think it would be more efficient if you guys did it like how comedians do, where they pretty much like when you go to a comedy show, they're like, we need your phone. So they don't. So
Yeah.
when they tell the same joke in another city, that people ain't already seen it all over
Yeah.
social media. You see what I'm saying? Like, do you think that would be efficient? Like, if y'all did
I
something like that, or
I think if action sports was on the same level as LeBron James, absolutely. I think it would be respected and it would make sense. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you see Tom Segura get on stage and he says a joke, you're like, I wonder what else he's going to say, right? It's not like that when it comes to action sports. They can see a triple backflip and be like, oh, I wonder what else they're going to do. It's like, oh, that's cool. I saw it. Like, why do I need to go pay someone to go see it, you know?
right,
So
right,
it's an interesting thing because 2008, 2006, that era from about the early 2000s was when action sports was huge. There's millions of dollars in it. Travis Pastrana doing the double backflip in the Staples Center on a dirt bike, one of the most iconic moments ever in action sports. Tony Hawk doing the 900 back in like 1999 or 2000. Those are when history is written, but now it doesn't matter. Like, it died. It's dead. Like, X Games is still a thing, but it's not what it used to be. They're not selling out the Staples Center. They're attaching on to like a music venue that people are already going to be at, and they're trying to show like, hey, people want to watch this while they're drunk at a music festival. Like, it's a bummer, honestly, and it's tough because everyone from ages 7 to 77 have some type of experience with a skateboard, bike, or something. And they remember that time when they thought they were cool when they like rode over a curb or whatever it is, and it's sad, but I think history can repeat itself, and I think that when it gets more eyes, it'll get more money, and when it gets more money, it'll get more respect. And I think that with the Olympics happening this year with freestyle BMX and skateboarding, it could do some good with it. But I don't know, man. There's not this generation of kids isn't growing up wanting to ride a bike. They're growing up wanting to play video games for a living. Like, they're growing up wanting to be a YouTuber. When are you going to the Olympics? I'm not. No way, dude. I got invited to go do that crap. Not a chance.
Why not?
Don't want to do it. I don't want to work my absolute ass off to be judged. It's a judging sport. There's no score system. Like, I could go put down the most insane run, and then someone else has their fate in my hands, And so, like, I don't want to, because I know the guy from the last Olympics. He's a BMX athlete. He won the very first Olympics. His name's Logan Martin. He's my teammate on Hyper. He won the Olympics, and we're having dinner here in Bentonville, and he's one of the most famous action sports athletes in the world. And I said, dude, like, when you won, I'm like, I know probably someone's asked you this, but, like, did it change your life getting that gold medal? Did it do anything for you? Like, you accomplished what, like what, if you, like, people, like, you can take care of for the rest of their life for winning an Olympic medal. Like, it's insane. And he looks at me, and he just smirks, and he goes, it did nothing. He goes, I did an interview with the news, and, like, I got to meet the president or the prime minister. Like, after that, like, nothing. I didn't get a bunch of money. I'm not set for the rest of my life, and it's because Australia and USA are so prone to getting medals that it means nothing. If I was from Venezuela, if I was from a smaller country, I would be treated like the richest man in the world for the rest of my life. My family's family is to be taken care of. And so for me, like, I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? Like, I love riding my bike for fun, and I love performing. And I don't want, if someone wants to say, like, that trick was gay, and I'm like, okay, well, you paid me money to come see it, so screw you. Like, I don't care. Like I won anyway. But I don't know. Like, I just think I just love to perform. I love to put a smile on people's faces. And no one is at an NBA game that's like, this is great. Like, I'm so happy. They're like, no, what's going to happen? Like, they're competing against each other. Like, I don't know. It can be a show. It can be great. But, like, man, it's I just ride for a different reason now, I guess. Bully House, congrats, bro. So, yeah, it's a lot. But sorry to go on the rant, but yeah, I got you.
Oh, you're good, brother. Hey, this is exactly why we're doing this, so you guys can just express yourself, say anything you need to say, let it all out, my boy. I appreciate you again, man, for
Of course,
providing
of
that.
course.
Hey, that's
I'm
why we're
trying.
here. Hey, congratulations, Bully. We're gonna get that last one up in just a moment.
Yeah, trying.
So
Thank you,
I
bro.
know you touched on it a little earlier as far as the injuries go. You
Mm-hmm.
said you broke 24 bones. Is that right?
24 bones since the age of 6. First bone broken was my collarbone when I was 6. Broke the same collarbone 3 more times after that, and
Oh
had a
my
bunch of
goodness.
gnarly stuff happen when it came to my worst injury was broke all my ribs on one side, rib went through my spleen, ruptured my spleen, had internal bleeding in my stomach, and ended up getting super sick and was in the hospital for like 2 months. Just got absolutely annihilated, just destroyed. Reconstructive surgery on my shoulder, broken fingers, broken ankles, broken feet, broke my tailbone, broke my eye socket, broken nose. Like, I've broken like all these random stuff, Like, it's just and that's all from motocross. Luckily, I've only had like 1 or 2 little injuries from BMX. All of the rest are from motocross, but also, it was I split my spinal cord tube on my back from a BMX accident. And it was as simple as me falling over right here on the ground. I just pinched it the right way, and I had fluid leakage in my back, and it ended up almost killing me. Like, it was actually pretty serious. Yeah, so we've had some gnarly stuff. Knock on wood that we don't have anymore. We've been healthy for the past couple of years, which has been great. But I've also taken like a lot of time to really start figuring out my life and what I want it to look like and how I want to feel and stuff like that. So, but yeah, a lot of broken bones, but a lot of stories to tell. It sucks, every single one of them, but it happens.
Man. So with that being said, what would you say like really pushed you to keep going after like breaking your ribs and messing your lung up and all that crazy shit? Like what really inside you was like, man, I gotta keep going. Like I gotta keep doing this.
It's hope, man. Like, this is a touchy one because it's like, at the end of the day, a lot of people have similar stories, like especially when it comes to action sports in general, motocross, stuff like that. Like, the family is riding on this kid's back. Like, they've dumped everything into the sport for this kid to succeed, and it is difficult. And for me, I saw what happened to my family, and I kind of put that on my shoulders. Like, I wanted to take care of them. I wanted to be there for them, and I wanted to become something for them. And it didn't matter if I broke my neck or my collarbone or whatever happened. Like, I was getting back on the bike. Like, I'm not. There's no way I'm giving up on my family that put all this effort into me. There's no way that I can to just give up. Like, no, it's not an option. Like, this happens. It's like, if you're writing an essay and you break your pencil, that can happen. But for me, it's like, no, like, until the fucking day I die, excuse my French, but until I die, like, there's no way I'm not going to be grinding. No matter what it is, whether it was my dirt bike, whether it was my BMX bike, the dirt bike, the dirt bike career, I can't control that. There's no way that I can look back on my life and think that I could have done anything differently. We were always dealt a bad hand. We always had issues. There was always things going on, and we got support, but we didn't. But like, it's one of the most expensive sports in the world, and like, and it's insane. I can't control that, but whatever it is I get to do after that, I can control. And if I didn't put the work in, it's my fault. And so, like, the breaking of the bones or whatever was happening, like, it's, I just have this like fuck all attitude that I'm like, dude, I don't care if I die, I'm gonna succeed, and no matter what it is, whether it's actually risking my life or it's uh, selling stuff on Whatnot or whatever it is, it's like, dude, like, I do not want to be the person that is laying in bed and woke up and look back on my life and say, man, I could have done better. I wish I would have tried harder or whatever it is. And that is not even to the aspect of action sports or whatever. It's the action sports of like, this is the hand that I'm dealt. You run what you brung, and I hope I brought enough. Because hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I don't care who you are. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you work hard at it, you're going to figure it out. And it's just the dead honest truth. And especially when it came to motocross, to the injury side, because that was the question, that is normal. It was normal for me to break my wrist and my dad duct tape it and I go finish my race. It was normal for me to break an ankle and put more weight on my right boot than my left boot because I broke my left foot. Like, that's normal. And that's the price that you pay to succeed. And that was just it. And that mentality has stuck with me for my entire existence. Like, that is where it has been, and that's what I developed into everything. Like, even some of the closest people to me, they're like, dude, like, why are you waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then you're doing this? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you running yourself into the ground? When are you gonna relax? When are you gonna sleep? I'm like, I'm sorry, and this is gonna be the tangent of the day, but if anyone's listening and you wanted to take anything from this, this is my 2 cents. I do not want to go work my entire freaking life, my entire life, and sit back and be like, you know what, dude, I could have done better. I don't want to look back on my entire life of work and then be 70 and be like, you know what, okay, I can relax now. I would rather put in every bit of effort that I can to make the living that I can now, to have fun and be excited every single day, because there's no there's no way, shape, or form that I want to work my entire life to make someone else money and then look back on my life and realize that all my time was spent doing that. Fuck that. Like, I'm sorry, but no way. No regrets at all.
Yeah.
And like, and it's just worth it, man. Like, I just want to make sure whatever it is that I'm doing, I make it worth it and I put 100% effort into it. And to answer Prime Order's question, the worst accident I had, dude, I had so many different Prime. Stop it, bro. Prime,
Prime.
stop it. You did not have to do that, bro.
Thank you,
You're a
bro.
legend. You're
Bro.
a
Hey,
legend.
that's crazy you said that. That was actually one of my next questions was what was the worst experience that you had? Whether it was you or maybe somebody else, what was the worst, you know what I'm saying, experience that you went through just in general? Thank you so much,
Man,
Prime.
that's a lot. But it was it when it came to injuries, definitely all right, we should kick the Gibby father. Kick this guy out of here. Dude's being a
Face, can you
troll.
please take care of that? Thank you so much for
Appreciate it, guys. But
for Mama.
it's one of those things. When it came to injuries, I my worst actual injury was breaking all my ribs on one side. Rib went through my spleen, and I ripped open my spleen. I had internal bleeding in my stomach, and I was
Goodness.
11 or 12 years old. It was my first time I ever had to have a catheter, and I already had really bad issues with my lungs. So all the scar tissue on my broken ribs went into my lungs and affected my lungs, and so I got pneumonia. And so I was in the hospital for about 2 months because I couldn't breathe. It was one of those things where like I ended up was like legitimately like drowning in my sleep, like because of all the buildup and stuff like that. And so my heart stopped when I was 11, and they ended up having to bring me back to life because of that, with that injury from motocross. So it was pretty crazy. But that's not even like the worst thing like that's happened to me. That's the worst injury. But like, man, my family losing everything was definitely a huge, huge, huge part of the the struggle, and it's where my story begins, and within so many different things of literally looking at us having everything than having nothing, seeing my parents fight all the time, seeing what not having money did to them, and that came through like our riding. My family dedicated everything to my racing career, and it didn't work. We got hurt too many times. We had a bunch of issues, but there were so many other things that were happening that I didn't really know about, like with the economy crashing, so on and so forth. So it wasn't my fault, but like even that is crazy, and it's difficult, and the injury is crazy. But like, man, like if I sit back and I'm like, all right, how do I answer that question? This is going to make me emotional, but it was honestly like the hardest thing I think I've ever had to deal with from a BMX perspective in my career. um, is not even like walking away from motocross. It's like, oh yeah, like that was going to be your whole life, like, and you had to walk away. Now you're doing BMX. It was honestly losing my best friend last year, because like he paved the way for me. He was my only friend growing up. When my family lost everything, he was the only person that was around. When I started riding BMX, he was the one that taught me everything. And there was so much that was happening so quickly, and it felt like it was never going to stop. Like someone was screaming in my ear every single day. I knew I could rely on him. I knew I could be there for him, and with him. And we played. If we weren't playing video games, we were at the skate park, and like we were constantly, 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 constantly just together. And he went one way, I went another one, and honestly, like I became successful with riding and traveling, and he didn't. He went down the road of drugs and alcohol, and got addicted and walked away from riding, but then would still ride, and he just kind of plummeted. It just was dealt a bad hand, and and it was so difficult, man, because like I had talked to him a few times, and like I wish I cared more. Like I wish I would have been there more. I wish I would have just put forth the effort. But then you don't really know what someone's going through until it's too late, type of thing. Like in all honesty, and I remember we were going home. We were going home to Florida just recently, last year, right before Nitro Circus. And I reached out to his dad. I'm like, man, like, is he doing good? Like, where is he? This, that, and the other. And we ended up getting in touch with him, and then shortly the next day he ended up getting arrested, and he was arrested for like petty theft, trying to like get food because no one knew that he was homeless on the streets of Florida right now. Like no one knew. Like fuck, this kid that was my best friend that gave like literally my best friend. Now he's homeless. Like what am I doing? I need to find him. I need to talk. I need to help him. And shit, man, it was one of those things where like we ended up going ahead and trying to figure out like how we were going to see him while we were there. And he got arrested, and he called to his dad. He's like, "Dad, like leave me in here for the next little while. Like let me detox. Let me come off of this. Like I'm ready to come home. Like I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to change my life. I'm ready." And his parents are separated, and they had an agreement with the mother and the father to not let him out. Like keep him there. Keep him there. Like it'll be good for him. You get 3 meals, all this stuff. Like it's fine. His mother was if the father had anything to say, the mother wanted to do the opposite. And he like begged and pleaded, like, please don't do anything. Like, let's just leave him there. And she's like high and mighty type of woman that would post on Instagram anytime she did something for her kid, like very like, look at me. And she ended up bailing him out of jail at 2:00 in the morning, a homeless 24-year-old. And by 6 a.m., he had stepped in front of a train and killed himself. And it just like, I literally got the news that day, and I remember walking out on like this dock, and I was like walking out to go do something, and I remember reading this text message and like just absolutely just bawling. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like it's just, like he's not. No, this is not true. Like this can't be true. And it was like my whole reality of like everything that like where I was because of him. And now he can't come on this journey with me. And like I couldn't, I still haven't even shook it, honestly. And like it was just it was like recently, it was right before I ended up going ahead and I was getting ready for Nitro Circus. It was literally like the biggest show of my entire life, a week later. And I hadn't faced what had happened, and I was just like so bummed. And then I finally was like walked into this stadium, and I'm realizing there's going to be thousands of people here representing action sports, and I'm about to perform in front of them. And I got like a sticker made on my helmet for him, and I finally like wrote a note to him, and I just started crying my eyes out. And one of his new best friend, basically, because him and I were friends, and he had no one, like literally no one. And then he ended up having a friend named River, and River reached out to me the day of Nitro Circus about a week after he passed, and he goes, "Dude," he's like, "I want you to know something." And he like tries, he's like, "I need to call you." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, bro." And he's like, "Braden never stopped talking about you." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude," he's like, "he was so proud of who you became, and he was so stoked on you, and he would talk shit about you and say that how he used to be better than you and all this different stuff, and how like," and man, like it just hit me so hard. And I was like, all right, well, then we're riding for him. And then for the rest of my life, like I can't not get off a BMX bike and not think about him or be stoked. And like that is like the hardest thing I think I've ever had to deal with, was like realizing that he's gone and that's it. And I owe him my entire life. And I'll forever say that. Like he's my best friend, and he will always be my best friend. And I wish that it was him. I wish that he made it, and I wish that it was the other way around. Honestly, sometimes I'm like, dude, like, but I owe him my entire life, and one day I'll come out with a story and talk about it a little bit more. But like, it's pretty freaking cool, man, and that how everything ended up when we met and stuff like that. But now it's like still the hardest thing I think I'll ever have to deal with or go through, for sure. But every time we touch a BMX bike, we're riding it for him, we're having fun and stuff like that. But can't complain too much. It's at the end of the day, like you never know what someone's going through, and you can't. They make their decision, and it's tough.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, like we're still here, and we'll try and promote a healthy lifestyle as much as we can, and check on your friends more, But yeah, it's crazy how fast it doesn't become about bikes anymore, in all honesty. But yeah,
What's up,
it's
everybody? Welcome in.
yeah, it's wild. Oh, Yeah.
I wanted to say I agree. I think he's living through you 100%. I also wanted to say thank you so much for sharing that, brother. I know that was,
Of course.
I know that was tough. I know it clearly, you know, is really, heavy on your heart. So I appreciate you for just sharing that, and what I'm saying, just
Of
allowing us
course.
all to hear that, because like you said, it's always there's room for us to always grow, or be better. And
100%.
sometimes, like, I had a recent situation as well where I felt like, my uncle passed away, and I felt like I didn't go see him, you know what I'm saying, as much as I should have, and he
Yeah.
just reached out to me a couple months ago, and I wish I would have went and seen him. But so, I feel you for that, and it's definitely not easy to talk about, especially with, a bunch of people just listening. And so thank you
Nah, it's
so
all
much for
good.
sharing that.
Oh, I
My
appreciate it. Yeah, of
condolences
course,
to
dude.
your brother, man.
I appreciate it, and it's one of those things where all darkness. It's crazy how like it's the darkest moments of your life, but like if you're in a pitch black room and a little bit of a light came in, all darkness has to flee from it. Like it disappears. No matter how small the light is, it still shines so bright. And so it's meant to be talked about. It's meant to be touched on to prevent it happening from someone else. Because there could be someone listening. It's like, yeah, dude, like I thought about doing that, or like that's where I'm at right now, and maybe listening to like
Yeah,
how this affected you. I don't want that me not being here to affect someone else's life, you know. So it's serious,
exactly.
and it's meant to be talked about. It's not meant to be feared, because if you fear it, then it just gives it more power. So, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, so what advice would you give to somebody who might want to start getting into BMX, or trying to do, the crazy
Don't do
tricks
it.
and
Run.
like
Don't do
that?
it. Don't freaking do it. Ride a mountain bike. Ride a mountain bike. It's where the money is, boys. Don't do it. Honestly, I would say just do what makes you happy, dude. Honestly, like inspiring to do better. Can't take for anything for granted. And remember that. I would say if anyone wants to ride a bike, go have fun riding it, and then see what will happen. Like mountain bikes are super sweet. BMX bikes are sick. Do your research and go have fun with your friends. And if you don't have friends, that bike will become your best friend. It is. There's a little. My background on my homepage is me and Braden when we were kids, and then the next slide, it's this little like cartoon character sitting on a bench next to his BMX bike, and it has like a little like bubble, and it says, "Man, I learned a lot from riding you, bud. Like I've learned a lot about the world from riding you. Like it was like super cool." And I'm like, you know what? Go like you never know what a little children's bike can do for your life, and it's taken me all over the world. So just ride a bike and have fun, dude. It doesn't matter what kind, but I would say mountain bikes are the best right now. They're so sick. I'm an absolute hoe for mountain bikes right now. It's amazing. It's the best, dude. It's so sick. I
Saw your last
love it.
video of you going crazy on that little hilly
Yeah,
little yeah, that shit was dope.
it's fun, dude.
Oh
I
man.
love it. That's one of like the that's a free local trail here. There's like hours upon miles and miles of trails here, and that's just like one little one called the Masterpiece, and we it's literally like 5 seconds from where I'm at right now. Dude, Mikey, that's
Oh
sick,
yeah.
bro. That's sweet. All
Bro,
right,
sick.
what else you got for me? Anything?
So one more question about the BMX before we transition. I was wondering, how much practice does it take to really get like a really good trick down? Like, if there's a new trick that you haven't done before, how much practice do you need to get that perfect landing down?
It's so funny, dude, because like the ongoing joke is like if you don't do it 3 times, it never happened type of thing. It's like do it 3 times to make it worth it. Excuse me, but dude, I'm very good at what I do. Genuinely, like even my boss from one of my teams, he's like, dude, I've never seen anyone go and do what you come and do when you come and ride. Like you go through your whole trick list and then you just go sit down. I I have like a very good memory when it comes to tricks. Like for me, I can do it one time and I have that feeling and I know I can do it wherever else. Like I'll know if it's possible anywhere else. And because BMX is so interchangeable, yeah, it's the same bike, but it's not the same setup. Everything's always different. From the incline to the takeoff to the landing, you're almost doing it like differently every single time. It becomes muscle memory. Like I can probably close my eyes and do a backflip tail up right now or a double backflip and not be scared. But it all depends on the trick. It seems like the simplest things for me are like the hardest. It's like I do a one-hander. I'm like, dude, I can't get my hand off the bar. Like, go do a double backflip. All right, let's go do that. That's easy. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it's always changing. Like, if I feel like I haven't ridden in a while, I'll just go through my trick list, and if I don't land something first try, I'll just go there and try it again, and then keep doing it until I land it. And then I'm like, all right, I landed it. We're good. Like, it's still there. Like, you know. But for other people, it's different. For me, it's just super. Like, not to toot my own horn, but it's super easy. Like, I don't really struggle with tricks. I don't really struggle at stuff. I'm like, okay, I look at it, I close my eyes, I visualize myself doing it through my own eyes. I'm like, I think I got it. And someone else will be like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I'm going anyway and go do it. Like, it's like, that's just how it is. Like, especially with like Nitro Circus, I'm like, everyone's like talking. They're like, how fast you got to go? I'm like, I'll find out. Like, I just roll in. Like, I'll go. But
you
yeah,
just gotta just do it and figure it out.
exactly. That's it. Muscle memory play a part. Muscle memory is the entire thing. Like right now, I feel every trick that I can do over and over and over. Like it's muscle memory to the max. Every single trick, muscle memory. Even like a 3-pointer, like for an NBA player, that is muscle memory. Patrick Mahomes throwing a football. He knows in his mind there is a secret like hidden little like wire to me to this receiver, and I know if I throw the ball like this, it's gonna get there. Same exact thing. Same exact thing.
Right.
It's weird. It's so weird. Yeah, for sure.
Dope, man. So the clothing brand. Talk to us about the clothing brand, the name, and the meaning.
It's interchanging, my friend, because it means something different to everyone. Take fun seriously. Travis Pastrana said it when I was like super young. He's like, "We're just out here taking fun seriously," and I always heard it. I'm like, "That's cool." And then my boss John from the Sun Dudes, he's like, "It's not fun to not have fun, so we gotta take fun seriously." And it's always been around. And I'm like, that's actually pretty smart. Like, how many people do you know right now that you could count on both hands that works a job every single day that they're miserable doing. They hate it. They complain about it, and they don't want to do it ever again. They are miserable. They're not having fun, and they're super serious about being super annoyed, and that's it. Like that. Like at the end of the day, that's their life. And I'm like, you know, I don't really want to deal with that. And I kind of like was always thinking about like how I wanted my life to look, but also how I presented my life to people. And I'm like, you know what? Like, no matter what I get to do, whether I'm training Shamu, doing double backflips, if I'm working at McDonald's, no matter what it is, I should be able to take it seriously and have fun doing it. Like, and I should be reminded that life is not meant to be super serious. It's meant to be fun. But then there is things that are fun that you should take serious. Like, it's kind of an oxymoron in a way, you know? But it means something different to everyone who reads it, and that's why like I love it so much, because there's so many people that read it now. They're like, man, like I really needed to wake up, like, and remember, have more fun. Like, that's serious. I appreciate it. And then there'll be another person that's like, man, am I too serious? Like, do I need to have more fun in my life? Or they'll be like, man, I'm having too much fun. I need to wake up and like get my life together. Like, it means something different. And now like take fun seriously. Like a couple of my buddies are like, you know what, we wanna promote like take life seriously. Like there's these people that are depressed that are not here anymore and that hate their life and they don't want to be here anymore. And it's like, man, like I wish they would have some fun, and I wish they knew like how serious life is meant to be. And so it's always changing, and that's the cool thing about it, and that's what I'm happy about it is like everyone who reads it thinks something differently. And I was like, you know what? How can I promote this lifestyle, and what can I do that's super simple that everyone can see and either and agree with? And I was like, hats. I don't have to hold a crazy amount of inventory. I don't have to have 15, 20, 30 different sizes of all this, that, and the other. It's like, it's a hat. You can either hang it up on your wall or you can wear it, or you can give it to someone. And it worked. And it's been great. And Whatnot, honestly, is kind of how I jump started it. Like 99% of my sales are all through Whatnot, selling out of the hats. And now anyone who sees it loves it. Like I'm giving hats to the Waltons, the owner of Walmart. They saw it, and they're like, "We want one. Like, hook us up." I'm like, "That sounds good." Freaking richest people in the world. But it's like, and even Travis Pastrana and so many other iconic people see it, and they're like, "You know what? Like, I like that," and it works. And to the person that's like at Chipotle making my burrito, they see it, they're like, "You know what? Thanks, appreciate that." I'm like, "You know what? Heck yeah!" Like now, I'm kind of motivated to really do something with it. I got a question. Come into my stream tomorrow, bro. I got them. I got a few left. They're sold out, but I got a few left laying around here. But it's just, yeah, man, it's cool, and I got a lot of ideas with it, and I think it could be something that could last a lifetime. I think, like, if you look at Antisocial Club and stuff like that, it's a simple saying that people can agree with, and they started off with hats actually,
Right.
and that's one of the reasons why I went with hats. That was like the first product they ever made, and it was one dude basically who started it from, if I remember correctly, and now that company just sold for that kid sold that company for over $150 million, like gone,
Wow.
over 100 mil is what it went for, and uh, and I know that's a fact because the person who told me was like, "Yeah, dude, I was in the office room when that happened." I'm like, "Holy hell, that's insane!" But it's like, not even to make a bunch of money or to be successful for the rest of my life. I think that it could be something that can go on anything. It could be branded with anything, and it's just easy and simple. And I think I think it's just I think it's my future, honestly. Like, if I really think about it and I really look at it, I think it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. No matter what it is that I'm doing, I want that to be implemented into my life, you know. And there's so many little spin-offs that you can do with it, and such, and partnerships and such, and that's kind of what I want to do. So yeah, that's the little story behind it, and we're making it happen. So
You already know.
still
You already
writing
know, Faith.
it.
So,
Faith,
so,
I love
so,
you.
are you planning on making like shirts and hoodies and all that type of stuff later? You just doing hats right
Yes,
now, or what's the
yes
goal?
and no. So I actually just placed a new order on Monday for 3 new hat styles. We're coming out with like a skateboard golfer hat that has clips on the back, so it's almost like, not like snapback, but it's like clip-ins, like click, 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 click. And then I'm doing a boonie hat, which is, I'm most stoked on the boonie hat, and I'm doing a captain's hat. So I kind of want to start getting into like the more goofy one-off things, and so that's what we're at right now. So we're doing those 3, and then I'm gonna move into things that other people could wear or other things could wear. Like, I'm gonna do dog bandanas, stuff like that, like things that, like, I don't know, it would be fun and be cool. So we're gonna move into
Yeah.
that, and I think I'm going to do an exclusive size run of like one t-shirt or one jacket. I think what I'm going to end up doing is an exclusive drop of just like a snowboard jacket or like a waterproof jacket, because it's year round. Like in the rainstorms, you would put it on, and if you want to go shred on it, you can go shred with it. So it can be multi-purposeful, but like only do that for like 10 or 15 of them and never do it again. Like, that's kind of like what I want to do, and that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Even especially with whatnot, and the power that this app is going to have, or even the idea this app is going to have in the future. I think I'm going to end up doing some big things with it, and we'll see. I like the idea of like accessories, like how the Antisocial Club and Supreme route goes. Like, anything that they put their name on it, it's worth it. And that's kind of like what I want to continue to do, and maybe do a like sunglasses for one. Things that I don't have to hold a bunch of inventory in. That's not just going to get hung up on someone's rack. It's going to be used every single day. It's going to be seen every single day, or it's going to be used a lot more than the shirt one time a week. You know, it's all
Right.
about the branding. It's all about how much is it in front of people's faces. You know, like my buddy, he wears his hat every single day when he plays drums at church, and constantly I get people hitting me up about it. Like, dude, where do you get that hat?
Right.
Where'd you get that hat? And he reaches out to me. He's like, dude, are you gonna get the website back up, because the website's up and it's sold out? What are you doing? And I'm like, just wait, just wait. Like, good things come to those who wait. And so it's a happy accident that I need to put more effort into, but I definitely am putting more effort into it here very soon. Which, doing the order for the new hats is me actually putting effort into it, but I need to promote it and do some stuff with it and get it in the hands of the people that would matter as well. But we'll see. I'm so chill with it, dude. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm so stoked on it, and I'm so stoked that people like it. Like, it's cool. It's freaking
Right.
sick. Like, I could not
Yeah.
sell any Antisocial or any Supreme or anything and just do Take Fun Seriously streams here, and people would still buy hats. Like, if people would come and buy them, you know? Like, I don't care. I'm stoked. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Socks is another
Hell
one.
yeah.
At least socks, for sure.
So you just started this recently, right? How long has it been?
Been 1 year. Just 1 year.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah.
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 1 year, not really doing much with it. Like, just like literally creating a website, getting it set up, and then good luck. Like, that was really it.
You get the hats later.
Yeah, literally. Like, we're doing something. I don't know what we're doing.
So what about the streaming? When did you start streaming?
I
And
started streaming about a
also,
year
how
and a
did you
half
get?
ago now. Year and a
Go
half
ahead, my
ago.
bad.
You're good. Year and a
Okay.
half ago is when I started streaming. Yeah. What else? What else were you about to ask? I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, how did you basically discover like streaming, whatnot, and how did you decide you wanted to get into it?
It's an interesting. The first time I got introduced to whatnot in general was from Seth. Uh, what's his last name? Oh my god, Fowler. Fowler is that how you pronounce his last name? The YouTuber. Anyone know who that guy
Uh,
is?
Not
He owns
sure.
the
Not sure.
he owns the
Anybody know?
company. Is it? He owns the company that does yeah, that one right there. That does
Okay.
like basically
Okay.
BroCat. I saw a YouTube video that he did, uh, and it was like, "What not? Get shoes." And I was always, he rated you. That's what's up. Heck yes, that's amazing. I love that dude. He actually just sent me socks. I gotta do an Instagram post about it. But I I saw one of his YouTube videos, and it's like actually how I first got introduced to the app because he was talking about how there was this app that you could get shoes for like super cheap and you could auction it. Maybe it goes for this price, maybe it goes for this. And I was like, all right, I'm down. Like I literally have been in love with shoes ever since I was a little kid and could never afford it. And I'm like, I'm setting it. I'm getting on the app. I got on the app and I bought my first pair of Dunks from Kick, Oklahoma, actually. And I paid way too much for it because I had no idea, didn't know about anything. I didn't know if when I swipe, if I kept swiping, like it was me bidding. And for sure enough, I paid like way too much for the shoe, but I was stoked. I'm like, that was amazing. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could do this. Like, this sounds sick. Like, this is cool. I wonder how people get into this. And I just started diving into like research. My buddy, they opened up a shoe store up in South Dakota called Preaches. And I was going to go there for their grand opening, and I wanted to support them, buy a pair of shoes from them. And I was like, I started getting like into research about reselling and stuff like that. Pause. I have to flip that around. I actually went to the sneaker store first, and then figured out what whatnot was because I was doing research about how the reselling game worked. I'm like, how are these dudes making buying these shoes for this price? Like, how much are they buying them for? That $1,000 for this pair of shoes? Like, what is this? Like, I had no idea. I knew nothing. I'm like an idiot when it came
Right.
to it. But I'm like, that shoe looks cool. I want to buy that one. And that's how doing research. I ended up finding like different discords and different like chat rooms and different like YouTube videos and all this different stuff. And then I finally I was like sifting through where they were getting their some of like I was going through like their followers that they had at the time, Preaches, the store, and I found this interesting account, and it had like 1 million followers, and it was about linked to this like Discord. So I was like, oh, that was cool. Like I got into the chat room, I got into it, and I'm like just looking at all the chats, and they're like, it was all these guys going back and forth about buying stuff and reselling. Hey, I got 50 of these. Anyone want this? Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, this is really interesting. And I messaged my buddy that owns the store. I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I know you guys don't want to tell me all your secrets, but what is this? And he ended up explaining to me like this is where they get a lot of like their streetwear and other deals on like big bulk orders for like shoes and stuff like that. And like, how'd you find this? And I'm like, oh, no reason. Like, I wasn't like snooping on your Instagram at all. I figured it out, but I ended up reaching out to one of like the admins. I'm like, hey, can I talk to the guy who started this? And sure enough, he like sent me the number, and we're talking back and forth. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a reseller. I don't know what this looks like. I'm just interested in it. Can I like get access to your like the paid thing that you guys do, and so that I can like see what this really is? And he gives me access to the account for 2 weeks. And so I get my own account. I go onto their website and their whole entire thing, and I basically could just look at inventory that they have for sale of real, authentic stuff that was like, yep, this is our price. This is the price here. This is how much you need to take. X, Y, Z, whatever. And so I remember I bought like 5 T-shirts, and they were a upcoming drop that Essentials was gonna have. It was like the what year are we in? We're in 24, so this was a year and a half ago. I think it was like these whitish T-shirts or something like that, and they were um, the kid that got them because PacSun was about to release them and it was about to go on the website, blah blah blah. So I was like, all right, I'll buy 4 of them. I bought 4 of them, and no one else had them at the time. It was the first thing I ever bought, and I was like doing research, looking it up. There was only like like coming soon type of like photos. There was never like stuff that was actually like available to buy. And so I was like, all right,
Right.
so these actually aren't out yet. Like, this is sick. All right, sweet. Boom. Bought like 4 of them, and I paid whatever price for them. And I remember I went on my Instagram account and I like reached out to people. I'm like, hey, I got these shirts for sale, unreleased, blah 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 blah. And I kept one for myself and sold 3 of them. And I like tripled my money or doubled my money, whatever it was. I'm like, that's sick. Like, all right, like I used to do this with bikes. I used to do this with everything. If I could get my hands on something and flip it, I was doing it. And I started to fall in love with the whole culture of this. And when Whatnot came about, I applied to sell and they denied me. And then I applied to sell again with like more inventory that I was like trying to like buy stuff and like hold on to it and try and resell it. And boom, got denied again. I'm like, damn it, dude. Like they said I didn't have enough inventory to basically get me an account. And I just knew, I'm like, if I can just, I have so much clothes and like I don't know, like I feel like if I could just like the stuff that I've already bought. So I remember I invested like $500 into that website again, and I was like, I have all these shirts, but I can't sell them on Instagram because no one knows what the hell it is. Like I need to get on this Whatnot thing, and I I took photos of someone else's product and other products, and I mixed it in with mine and
Allegedly.
sent it in. I sent it in. I was like, this better work. And it was my buddy's inventory, so yeah, I could have bought it from him and resold it anyway. And there was other inventory that was for sale, and so I took photos of that and mixed in with the stuff that I had, and they approved it. And I remember I made $980 on my first stream, and my first my first stream, I think Keem and 612 and all those guys rated me like my very first stream. It was like my first or second stream, and they just bought everything that I had. Actually, no, they rated me my second stream. A different person rated me the first stream I did, and they had no idea what streetwear was. They just bought everything. So I was like back to back. I had these people buy everything, and I was like, this is
Wow.
absolutely nuts. And like the community like kind of fell in love with me almost immediately. And I remember I made $980 in one night, and I was like, "What the hell happened? Like that's insane." Because I'm used to like not that. Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so I took all the money and I invested it into it again. And I just started to like realize that like people were not coming just to buy; they were coming to listen to me talk and jump around and goof off. Like and they fell in love with like the story like of me riding bikes or my daughter about to come into the world. Like so much happened so quickly, and I just literally it became like my new like drug. It became my new thing that I wanted to progress at and get better at. And yeah, I like and it legit just like dove head in onto it, and it's been the best decision ever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Hell
It's
yeah.
a happy accident. Honestly, it's a happy accident. Like it never was supposed to happen.
I feel the same way. Like first time I found out about Whatnot, I you know what I'm saying. Like I definitely didn't expect this or nothing. You know, so it's crazy
Yeah,
how things happen over time, man. For sure. I
it's
remember my
wild.
first stream too. So were you selling streetwear before you started streaming, or did that kind of is what boosted it off?
I sold 4 T-shirts beforehand. That was it. It was the only thing that I
So
sold.
those were
I knew
the first.
nothing. I was a BMX rider that was starting to sell clothes. I had no idea. I knew nothing about shoes. I knew nothing about clothes. Everything that I was learning it from my buddy's store. And I just kept pestering them and pestering them and pestering them. And then on the app, I would reach out to. I have messages reaching out to everyone. Hey, can you like just give me some insight on this? Give me some insight. Like, what is this? What is this? What is that? And tried to be a sponge and just doing Google reviews over and over and over and over and over, and like just figuring it out. Like that legit. Like I got blessed with like a lot of people coming into the community really quickly for me, and I think I got in at the right time. Like you and I feel like we started like almost at the exact same time, and like I don't know. It's like when Whatnot kind of felt more of a community, not like an app, not like a place to buy, but a place to hang out. You know, so
Right.
it just worked, and I had to learn a lot of tough mistakes and learn authenticity, learn what this was, learn about this, learn because I knew nothing. Like legitimately, I knew fucking nothing at all. Now I am blessed that I've had so many people like teach me and know a lot and understand like that this is supposed to be like this and this is supposed to be like this. And also, there's this guy based out of here that's just like flooding the market with this. And I'm like, now, even being more tapped in, like I have a direct contact for a lot of these companies and a lot of people, and like I can solidify, okay, I know what I'm getting is real, not like, okay, here's the roll of the dice, let me go. I didn't even know what Google
Right.
Sheet sellers were. I knew nothing, like literally. And that's why like I try to do my best to like tell people like on my streams, or if there's a problem, or like even with my past, I've had beef with another streamer. I'm like, dude, like I knew nothing. This is like I respect your hustle, I respect who you are, I respect all this stuff, but like I know that like, everyone like pride puffs up and love shows up, but like man, like I knew nothing coming into this, and now like I'm stoked to understand and really like be a part of the community and like try to give people authentic good stuff at good prices. Like if I can make 10, 15 bucks on something and I get my cash flow back and I made a little bit of money and I can put it aside, great. And I can do that 15, 20 times. Awesome. Sounds great. Because at the end of the day, it's like we could hold off to make all this money on this product that's really costing the person who's making it $1.50, and now they're selling them for $49 retail, and then that person has to sell them for 85, and yada 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 yada, so and so on. Like, nah, I'm good making my 5, 10, 15 bucks, you know, like I'm cool with that. And someone's stoked that they didn't have to fucking pay their mortgage bill to get that t-shirt they wanted, you know, like I don't know, like it's different for me now, I guess, and I want to be able to look at it differently. And then that's not to ruin the market, that's not to like kill anyone's vibe, or if they think differently, it's like, hey, a lot of this stuff is exclusive and it should be worth money, you know. But it's just, I don't know, I feel like we can all like take a look. I think every transaction both people should be winning, if that makes sense, you know. Like it shouldn't be like
Yeah.
one side, you know. Like I feel like everyone should win in the situation, especially when it's hard-earned money, whatever it is, you know. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
For sure, and of course, if you always make someone feel like they're getting a good deal, then they're probably gonna come back for sure. Whereas I've tried to tell people for years, like you can tax somebody for sure, but are they gonna come back? You know,
Yeah,
so for sure, like
100%.
I feel like that's definitely the right mindset to have for sure.
But then if you're a
So what
whatnot
would
buyer, then you're just getting 80% off anything, and you just get spoiled. So it's like it's like a double edged sword, dude.
right?
My God.
It's crazy. That shit's crazy. So what would you say is your best experience as far as streaming goes so far? Like maybe your most fun stream, or maybe whatever. What do you think is your best experience from streaming?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like all of it, like just the life change. Like cheers, it's just the life change. Honestly, like I can't really think of one moment. I think of so many moments. Like even now, like going to SneakerCon, the 10K celebration was definitely fun. That was insane. My one of my favorite ones was like me doing a game, and back to back the same person. It was Jesse. I think Jesse's in here. Back to back won the game back to back, which was nuts. I remember screaming like what, like freaking out. I was so stoked. And like that's cool, but now like going to SneakerCon and like meeting people that watch me every single day, like Nanners is like a good friend of mine now, and Dev and like 612, meeting all these other people that have like only seen me on a camera. Like they know me from Whatnot, they don't know me from my BMX career, and that's how I've always kind of kept it. I've always kept it very separated. Um, Basically like the Hannah Montana lifestyle of it, but like honestly, like getting to employ my friends and getting to like buy people lunch and stuff, and like all of it as a whole, I think it's just changed my life so much to where like it's just, man, I can't say enough good things about it. Like I can't just say one thing. Like there's so many moments that I'm able to like look back on, and one of them actually in particular that happened on this app was like the best and worst thing. It was right before my daughter was going to be born, and we were in a really tough time. We were trying to do Whatnot. BMX shows were really slow, and I was struggling. And my van broke down, and then my wife's car broke down. It was like just like there was a bunch of crap going on. Like Kezzy's car broke, and like all this stuff was happening. And someone that is a really good friend of mine now, her name's Alexis, ended up doing an entire stream and she had reached out to me about this stream, and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna support a family that's in need. Like, do you have anything that you could sell?" I grabbed my most expensive shirt that I had. I'm like, you know what? Like, we're in a tough time, but like, if this family's in need, like, I'll grab the most expensive T-shirt I had. And I think it was like a $200 Drew House T-shirt. And I was like, sell this on your stream, and I'll ship you the label. Like, whatever it goes for, it goes for. It went for like $110 or something like that. And the person who bought it was stoked. I'm like, sick. Like, I was the last person to come on to do that, to do the last like guest auction on the stream for this family. And I was like, dude, like, that's awesome. It's a $200 T-shirt. I hope you're stoked on it. And the family who's it going to, whoever it is, like, I hope like that it goes well. And it was like a co-host thing, just like this. And she goes, yeah, I can't wait for you to be super stoked on all the money that we raised for you and for your daughter. I'm like, wait, what? And she
Oh,
took all of the money from the stream and gave it to us to put it towards getting like Lucy and stuff, and like setting, like, it was crazy. Like, they gave us like $2,000 just because. And I
wow.
lost it. I was in tears. And then we ended up using some of the money to get like, because we had no car, so I had to do something, and we like bought a new car, and we have an 8% interest rate, and it's a ridiculous payment, and we used money for a down payment, all this stuff, and like they really helped us get a new vehicle. And a lady didn't like it, and she went on YouTube and went after me and went after Alexis and went after everyone, was like, this family wasn't really in need, this is a scam, this is this. And like, she ended up getting kicked off this app and stuff like that. But like, I had, after the most amazing thing that has ever happened to like my family and for me, like really helped us and when we needed it, I started getting death threats and hate mail, and all this lady that had a big pull on this app was offended and said that we weren't a real family in need and that we didn't deserve it. And people went after it and heard her story and like came after me and like went after like my unborn daughter and like saying like they hope that she dies and this and that, like gnarly shit because of someone's idiotic opinion over someone that she doesn't know. And that was on Whatnot. And nothing
Wow.
ever happened. She ended up getting banned from the app later on for doing it to someone else again. I was like, man, like, and I reached out to her like several times and she wouldn't respond. And I was like, hey, you don't know me. Like, you don't know my story. Like, how could you do something like that? Like, I don't understand. And we ended up talking and stuff like that. And then later on, justice came and she got kicked off. And I feel bad for her, honestly. At the end of the day, like, I have no bad blood. I don't care. I've had other issues with people on the app. But, like, I'm like, man, like, I really feel bad. Like, what are you going through that you have to be that negative and that mean? So, like, streaming has definitely been like really great for me and great for my family, but it's also had some weird things happen too, like even just drama between try calling me and other people. And it's like, man, like if you just take a second to know me, like, and know my story and know who I am, like, know that like if I made a mistake or someone sold me something that was fake and I sold it to you and now StockX is not like passing it, don't tell me I should fucking kill myself. Like, let's have a conversation. I'll show you my receipt. Like, let's figure this out. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I apologize. And people get so angry and so mad, but also being in front of a camera, it puts you in a position to be super vulnerable all the time, and it puts you a target on your back. And so I've had amazing, awesome experiences, and I think they're only getting better and only getting like crazier now that I've been growing as well. But still even today, I deal with the fucking drama. Someone got a Take Fun Seriously pin and told me to go fuck myself on a review, and was like, I was supposed to get this, and now I got this shitty ass thing, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm sorry if my employee or I made a mistake. Like, if you were supposed to get something else, let me look into that for you, and I'll still send it to you. But you don't have to be a dick. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's good and it's bad, but like, to not go on the rant of it. But man, like, there's been so many really cool things, and like even looking back on it, like getting to get to know prime orders and know yourself, and like getting to raid other people is so sick. Now that I like, even if I had 30, 40 people in a stream or 15 people in a stream, like now I get to like have 100 people and go jump into someone's thing. Like, even like with prime orders, like he is an absolute legend, knows exactly what he's doing, knows this industry inside outside. but like I knew streaming a little bit better. So like I was trying to give him insight as he gave me insight, and we developed a relationship there, you know. And it's like it's just crazy, dude. Honestly, it's all so nuts. There's so many stories to tell, and it's only been a year and a half. Like it's weird. It's so weird. Like it's gnarly, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much can happen in the matter of like a year on something like this because it seems almost mind boggling because it's like I don't think this is going away. Like this, like streaming and
No,
like live stream selling, like it's not going anywhere. So it's
no.
crazy. Like you and myself, like we're involved, and I can't wait to see where it goes for sure.
Yeah,
What goals do you have as far as the streaming goes? Like where do you see yourself going with it?
I battle with that
Or
right now. Like honestly, like
what
I
was that?
battle with it right now. Like I battle with it a lot because I'm like on the fence. Like I sit back and I wonder. I'm like, okay, do I just do what I'm doing and chill? Prime, I love you, bro. Do I just chill? Like I have like a little bit of a game plan. Like and I tested the theory. Originally, I'm like, I'm gonna buy whatever, I'm gonna sell whatever, and I can pay my bills. Sick, let's go. And then I started to think of it as like a business. And I'm like, okay, what will produce longevity in this? What makes sense? And I started to formulate a plan. And I'm very transparent. Like I don't care talking about this. Last year, doing this part time, I made six figures doing this part time, and that's top line. That's not profit, obviously. I think it was, and I looked at that and I'm like, okay, I was doing this part time. That's crazy. That's insane. Um, and actually, I want to touch on something too that I just remembered like another moment of streaming that needs to be talked about. But I'll finish with this. And I remember looking at that. I'm like, okay, like that's wild. That's crazy. Okay, so I did that. So what does that mean? If I do this full time, like, will I make double that? Will I even make that again? Like, what can I do? What is this reality of this? And I formulated a plan to set a number on my in my head. Like, I want to do this in a month. I want to do it consistently. And if I can get near this number, that would be great. But I just want to stream 5 days a week or 4 days a week and be in front of the camera consistently with a set time to see if I can own that time slot. Not being wishy washy and be like, oh, I'll start this time, I'll start this time, I'll start this time, whatever. And I'm gonna treat it like a job, but I'm gonna treat it like something that I want to show up to. And it worked. And it blew every expectation out of the water for me this year. Like actually going full time this year. Because I did it half a year last year, and now I'm going on my first full year. And it blew everything out of the water for me. And it worked. And it was super successful, and I was really stoked, and it made me love streaming so much. Like I went from having like 4 or 5 thousand followers to now jumping to 15, almost 15,000 in the last 4 months. Like really boosting really high. Like really, really going.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even set a goal that was like crazy. I'm like, all right, like maybe this will work, you know, like maybe I can do this. And I think about the money and I think about that and I'm like, cool. If I look at like the goals that I want to set, I like the idea of chasing after the blue check mark to get a contract with them. And I think, and if no one knows what that means, you have to do it. Prime, chill, bro. You're such a legend, dog. Literally a living
Dog,
legend. Hey,
thank you so much.
love you, Prime. That's going to my man. Appreciate you. Like,
Thank you, dog. Thank you.
and it's interesting because, like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, doing six figures a month on the app sounds awesome and it sounds great, but that's a lot of freaking work. Like, an insane amount of work that I have to maintain. So I go back and forth between this idea of like, do I want to chase after this blue check mark and get a deal and do this, or do I want to continue to be an entertainer? Like I want to entertain people. I want to sell good product. I want to be known on the app to have fun and have a good time and give people good stuff and just hang out like and have a great time. Like that's what I want to do and that's what I want to continue to do. But by scaling my brand and my business as well. Being able to make more money means I can do a lot more for my family, do a lot more things. And so I stay on the teeter totter of like, should I push and just fucking work myself into the ground and make a lot of money? Or should I just be me and chill? And if I grow, great. If I stay where I'm at, great. Because like I make more money right now doing an hour stream of my day. 1 hour. 1 hour of my day, putting that camera up, 1 hour of my day. I do an hour stream, maybe a 2 hour stream, maybe. I talk and I hang out, answer questions, have a good time. and Hannah, my employee, packs the orders and drops them off the UPS store. I can go home or I can go ride my bike. I can go do whatever the hell I want. And I make more money in that hour than most people make working 40 hours a week. And that's insane. And that's a blessing. I'm
Insane.
super stoked. I'm stoked. I love it. It's not a ridiculous amount of money. It's not, I'm a millionaire. I'm not 100,000 there. Like I don't have 200 grand sitting in my bank account, but also a lot of people, I don't own my house yet. I rent my house. I rent a car. I do all this crap. But like, that's in the last year and a half, I've been able to go pay for someone's dinner. I've been able to go to the grocery store and not worry about like how much is it going to cost? Like, I can book a flight for my mom to come see me and my daughter. Like, there's so many things that it has blessed me with that I want to hold dearly and I want to like continue to build off of to stay on this platform. Like, if you think about it, Whatnot has kind of very much turned into like a liquidation platform of like a lot of sales happening very, 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 very fast. But then you got the guys like Retro Soul that's selling stuff at a set price. You guys got stuff like yourself that's entertaining, jumping around, doing a gumball machine game that people are stoked on because they don't know what they're gonna get. Like there's so many different avenues. And now I don't even know if you saw what Whatnot did just a minute ago. They had that like game show thing that they just did where it was like 2,000 people in within the first 30 seconds. I'm not joking. No BS. It just started. I'm not like this shows you what it could happen on this platform. It had just started. There's 2,000 people in there, right? They had 300 items sold within the first couple minutes because there was a buy it now for $10 and $5 that were like buying Whatnot stuff. There was over 300 orders of $10 within a couple minutes.
Shit's
You
crazy,
telling
man.
me that if you can become someone that's an entertainer, that's an icon, that is legitimately has a pull, that is either a somebody or that people want to gravitate towards, and you have your merch, you have Take Fun Seriously hats. Say I have 1 million followers, right? And I come onto this platform and I get 20,000 people on a stream, or the hell, 2,000 people on a stream, and I have my hats and the buy it now that people buy at $55 a hat on my website for $25. You do not think that there's going to be 300 of those sold in a minute? It's crazy. So there is a possibility to not have to. There's a possibility to scale without having to scale. If that makes sense. Like as the app grows and you can solidify your role and you can be here and you can play nice and you can have fun and keep in front of the camera and build your following and build the community. I think in the next couple of years this is going to be crazy. Do I think that everyone's gonna have to adapt? 100%. Not everyone can afford to buy a $50, $60, $75 t-shirt, but the people who can do. And that's one of the things. The rich always stay richer. And so with the streetwear category, it's great because we have margins and we have this and we have that. Shoes is a little bit different a story. Vintage is a different story. I think we're all going to have to really branch out and start trying different things and figuring out what works. But for my future here on this platform, I want to entertain and I want to be known as the guy that people can trust, that is going to be stoked on everything, that you can come and hang out and watch me drink coffee and you're going to be stoked and you're going to get a good item and you're going to get a good price and you're going to want to come back. And that's what I want to do. And whether I'm doing $150,000 a week or a month on this app, or I'm making whatever, $10,000, $5,000, $100, whatever it is, I just want to continue to build and grow and be there for people. And that's it, really. Like I battle with it all the time. I'm thinking about really wanting to hone in on my social media platform and start promoting it. Like I've had a post sitting in my drafts for Whatnot and for my reselling platform to talk about it. I've never opened up about it to anyone. Like only people that know that I stream is the people that are on this app. My own family barely knows. They don't understand it. My friends, no one knows outside of the Whatnot community. And I have more followers on Whatnot than I do on my Instagram account. And it's crazy. And so, I don't know. I'm thinking of how I can continue to be a character and how I can continue to bring fun and joy and also seriousness to the app. Do stuff like this where we're just talking, hanging out, and we got stuff in the buy it now, so we're not going to get in trouble. And like people want to support, and everyone go follow Prime Orders, please. He's blessed the entire stream. Please do that. But like, I don't know, man.
Please.
Like, I think this is more than a selling platform, and I think it'll continue to grow in that direction. And I just want to be a part of it growing. I want to be here. I want to be one of the people that got in when it was small, and like, hey, like you've been here from the beginning. You know, if you got an Instagram account when it first started, guaranteed you right now you're gonna be big, fame, Facebook, anything else. Like whatever you started in the
Yeah.
beginning and it worked, you're thankful now. So I think that this is gonna be a big part of my future. And yeah, I got some really cool ideas and big plans and little ideas that even still humble me. Like even when Prime was like, "Don't do contracts," I was like, thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Like if I was to try to make a number and hit this thing for this company that's going to give me this like little piece of like, for lack of better words, like a little sliver of the pie or a little bite of the pie but I have to work for them. I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to do that at all. Like I'd rather just continue to work for myself and go on live when I want to and hang out and know that I'm gonna have a coffee in my hand and I'm gonna sell dope stuff. And if I decide to go live for 12 hours and liquidate all my stuff and hang out and give away a bunch of crap, great. But if I'm also not gonna let someone rob a T-shirt from me that I paid $36 for and I sell it for 25, I'm gonna wait and try and get 55 for it. Like I don't care. Like I'm hanging out, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rant, but like I'm
That's
still
good.
answering the question. Like still answering those questions, you know. So it's cool, and it's always changing. My answers are always changing when it comes to that.
For sure. For sure, man. No, I appreciate you spilling, letting us know how you feel, man. Like I said, that's what we're here for, man. Like you said, we trying different things. This is honestly something I've been wanting to do for a while. Whatnot, and all the people I've been able to meet and the community I've been able to be a part of has, allowed me to do this. And so
Yeah,
I'm just very appreciative of that as well. And like you said, being here in the beginning, it makes it more worth it, makes it more enticing, intriguing, like to see what's coming next.
for
So
sure.
I'm excited too. I'm glad we here, man, and hopefully, I mean, we gonna stay here. We ain't
Yeah,
going
I hope
nowhere. So
so. That's the
I'm excited
plan.
to see where it's going.
That's the
Yeah, I'm
plan.
excited, man. I'm excited. So let us know, man. When did you become a father?
April 4th of last year, 4/4/24 became, or 20, no, wait. Yeah, 23. 4/4/23, sorry. She's a year old now. Became a dad, which is crazy. Freaking Lucy Jean Cortese. And she is absolutely my kid. She's out of her freaking mind. She climbs everything, wants to hop on bikes, walks everywhere. The kid is nuts. At the end of the day, the kid's absolutely nuts. And yeah, she's my daughter, and it's one of the most craziest things, dude. Honestly, it is so ridiculous that I get to introduce someone to life, you know, and it's super cool. She brings me so much joy, and I get to I'm on my one wheel all the time. I rip around on my one wheel everywhere. Everyone knows that, and I legitimately the other day was one wheeling with the stroller, pushing her in the stroller around town, and everyone loved it and was freaked out. Like, that's so sick. So just being able to do really cool things with her, and yeah, it's one of the coolest things ever is to be a dad. So gotta love it. What's up, bro? Mike too. How we doing?
That's amazing, man. So how do you balance out? Because you're a busy dude. You got a lot going on. How do you balance out? Your business, everything you got going on, with really just focusing on being a father, like you said, introducing her to life.
Yeah, it's a lot, dude. And still answering that question. When I was in 2 years ago, right before she was born, I did 200 days on the road traveling. That's nuts. Way more than anyone should ever do. If I'm being completely honest, it is a lot. It's a lot of work. Now with Whatnot, I'm able to make sure I'm intentional about the time that I get to spend with her, but also the time I get to spend in various different occasions of what I'm doing. And it's being intentional about my time. My time is the most valuable thing in the world, other than my daughter, other than my health, other than everything, marriage, whatever. It's my time. Time is more valuable than money because you don't know how much of it you have left and you can't get any of it back. It's the most valuable thing in the world. And so I'm very intentional about making sure that I wake up in the morning with her. When she wakes up, I want to be up. And I want to spend time with her alone, without anyone else, just her and I. and give her a morning bottle, change her diaper, watch Bluey on TV with her, and just hang out. And or take her to go to let's say like the coffee shop with me or whatever it is, and being intentional about watching her and what she's doing when she doesn't know that I'm watching, you know. And so I'd also rather sacrifice the moments now that she won't remember me always being there 100% of the time than and work hard to be able to be free when she will remember it. And that's kind of like my 2 cents on it. And she's grown so much in the last year, and been so many changes, and so many people are like, don't look away, they'll grow up so fast. And I 100% agree. But like, I want to be there when she remembers me, like being there for her and being able to be there for her, not see me stressed out because of work or money or whatever. Like, I want to make it happen now so that she doesn't have to ever see that, and not go through what me and my family went through and what I had to see them go through, you know? And so the way I manage my time is being intentional about my time. And I'm still learning how to do that. And I'm trying to, and by learning that, you have to be obedient, and it's difficult, but we're making it happen, to say the least. So we'll see. Still trying to write that story. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that no one sees, and uh, it's difficult, but it's worth it for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So, what would you say? What would you say is the best part of being a father? What's the best feeling?
Honestly, best part of being a dad for me, or the best feeling of it, is just like laugh. It's the laughing. It's just, you look at this little shithead, or you look at this little kid, and no matter what they're doing, you just can't help but just laugh. It is the funniest crap in the world. And like, the best thing, there's so much joy and so much laughter. Like, that's the best part for me, getting to see her grow up and like make decisions on her own, but also like be mischievous. Like with Lucy, my daughter, she is so mischievous. She'll look over at me and be like, she's one, this kid's one, and already doing this. She'll be like, don't do that. And she'll be like, and she'll look at you like, nah, dude, I'm doing it. And she knows. And she'll know. I'm like, Lucy, that's bad. Don't do that. And she'll go, ah, ah, and then she'll like just tap it or just like touch it and start busting out laughing. And I'm like, you understand me, you little crackhead. Like, you actually know what is going on right now. And that's just the best part. It's just the absolute laughter, man. Like, and just the curiosity is the coolest part of her looking at things and wanting to do things, and monkey see monkey do. But it's also like, you realize like they are thinking for themselves, and like they can do some gnarly stuff. Like, she is fearless. Like today, I'm sitting there watching TV, I'm on the recliner, I look over, she's on top of the couch. I'm like, you were by my feet 5 milliseconds ago. You climbed. You're 1 year old. You've just learned how to walk. You climbed up the ottoman, up the couch, onto the top of the couch, and you're standing up, bumping your head up against the wall. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she drops her binky on the floor, and she lays down and slides herself off of the couch. And I'm like, what? That, no one taught you that. Like, you're nuts, dude. Like, the kid is absolutely out of her damn mind. And I'm terrified, dude. I'm terrified because she has my genetics in her, and she's going to be nuts, and she already is. But it is definitely just getting started. I agree. Like, goodness gracious, that kid is
Oh
gnarly.
man,
Just
that's
gnarly, dude.
amazing.
I caught her the other
Oh,
day. I'm sitting on the couch, and she dips out. She's like, gone. Boom. I'm like, whatever she's about to go do, great. She dips out, goes around the corner. I hear boom, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for her to start crying. I'm like, gosh dang it, nothing. And I'm like, that's weird. I hear it again, boom, and I'm like, all right, what the heck is this little crackhead doing? I walk around the corner. She has her little Strider bicycle, and she is trying to get onto her bicycle, and she's falling over. And I'm like, you
she's
have to
just
stop
like her
doing this.
pops.
And she moves, literally, she like has the bike, and she's looking up at me, and I'm like, you're joking. And I pick her up and I put her on it, and she just goes boop, 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 and just takes off. I'm like, there's no way this just happened. Like, this, nuts, and I'm like, all right, well, now I can never say that she's not my kid because this just proved it. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, there's no argument about that. I did that. I literally did that. There's no doubt.
It don't matter what the DNA test says, man. It's your kid.
No, that's it. That's my kid for sure. There's not a snowball's chance in hell that's not my kid. After that moment, are you kidding me? My God, dude, that kid is out of her dang mind, bro. Kid is nuts.
That's great, man. That's great.
It is amazing.
Oh man.
That kid's nuts.
Well, shit, brother. We just talked about all types of stuff, man. I think you provided plenty of motivation, knowledge, inspiration. Just to conclude it, what would you say to anybody that's listening or that's gonna listen? Maybe it don't have nothing to do about the clothing brand or BMX, but just life in general. What does Louie Cortese leave for the people to hear?
Man, man, when does anything great ever came from people playing it safe? Like, understand that we live in a generation now that we're not being taught how to do things, we're being taught how to think. And that's the issue with school, that's the issue with in so many ways, shape, or form, from politics to whatever, however you view whatever it is. But they're trying to teach you how to think. And if you think how everyone else thinks, you're going to follow in line to be exactly how everyone else is. And if you want the life that you so dream of, like, you have to be different to go out there and do it. Your story is not the same as anyone else's, and know that, like, it doesn't have to be any other way other than yours. Like, at the end of the day, like, I have my story, you have yours, whoever else has their story. You don't need to be a streamer, you don't need to be a professional athlete, you don't need to train Shamu, you don't need to be LeBron James to be happy, to make a living, to be happy. And at the end of the day, you are you're your own character. Do whatever it is that you want to do. Figure it out. Have fun. And know that, like, life is not always that serious. It's meant to have fun. But the things that you have fun doing, take them seriously. Like, not to plug my brand any more than I have, but it's just like, man, your time is the most valuable thing that you have in your life. And if you are doing something every single day that you absolutely hate and you are punching the clock on your time, it's like spending money, dude. You're giving your time away every single day to something that's miserable. It's not worth it. Like, I promise you, it's not worth it. And I always say that because time, money, jobs, work, all this stuff fall into what makes people happy or sad every single day. And people believe that in their 40 hours of their work week is the only time that they're able to make money. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what someone taught you to do, is to follow in line, punch the clock, work your 9 to 5, get paid what I tell you you're worth, and then go home and hopefully you have enough to make it to next week. I'm able to put a value on what my time is worth. So I'm asking you, the 14, 15 people, 16 people, however many people are asking or watching, what is your time worth? Have you ever thought about that? Like, and figure that out. Because, man, if I told you, if I listened to what everyone else thought I should be doing, or if I also still let someone else put a value on my time, my life would look a lot different. I've never been happier in my entire life than when I worked for myself, and when I made my own money, and when I just, like, did anything that I got to do with my time. If I got to pay my bills and I had to eat a PB&J this week, great. But I paid my bills and I did something happy, heck yeah. It doesn't matter what the dollar figure is in your bank account, because that dollar is not going to add anything other than maybe some joy. That's instant gratification, but it just adds a lot more problems, because you buy a lot more stuff. That means a lot more stuff has to get fixed, like, or a lot more stuff to handle. It's not worth it. You can't take it with you, that much for sure. But yeah, I don't know, a lot of little key nuggets of wisdom, but wisdom means nothing unless it's implemented. So take it and do something with it. That's it, man. But I appreciate it, bro. This was sick. I like it. This is awesome. I appreciate you. We talked for a while too, dude. We're on like 2 hours right now. Let's go.
Hey, you got the highest time right now, so we go. I don't know if anybody's gonna be able to beat it for a little while.
I'm all
No,
for
but
it.
seriously, man, thank you so much. That shit was beautiful. You had so much to say. I know I took a lot from what you said. I hope, I know other people did as well, for sure. And we're gonna put this on YouTube, so who
Sick.
knows, man? Maybe we can reach some more people as well.
Keep it going.
Y'all come whatnot. Check us out, man. Check the boy Louie out. You know.
Nah, dude,
But
this is
seriously, Louie, seriously, man, I really appreciate you not just for providing your time, but for also just coming on and just being yourself and just providing so much, man. Like I said, that was a very touching story. Um, and I think we all appreciated that. I think I can speak for
appreciate
all
it.
of us when I say that. Thank you
Of
so much,
course.
brother. Seriously.
Well, it means a lot, man. Thanks for having me, and dude, I'm stoked. I hope we get to do it again soon, and yeah, let's just keep on trucking. Let's keep let's us little guys gotta stick together, man. We gotta keep this thing going. All right. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah.
And, thanks for the love. Thank you for allowing me to come on to here. And guys, please go ahead, bookmark all the streams, give us a follow. If you want to see more, please just support my boy. I appreciate it. If you want to see me, I'll be live tomorrow morning as well. But man, thank you guys. Appreciate you sincerely.
Go check
Thank
him
you.
out. You heard it right there. Go
We'll be
check the
live
boy
tomorrow.
Louie out. Even if you go check him out on IG too, because you're gonna see a lot of crazy shit. I'm telling you right
Yeah,
now. Go check him
go do
out.
that. That's the best. That is the best. Oh,
Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna conclude it right there and
wait.
cut.